The following may contain strong opinionated views. The views and opinions expressed on this show does not necessarily reflect the views or the opinions of any social media or broadcast platform.
Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversations and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now, here's your hosts Frank Allan and Brian Camp.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you in your different time zones around the world and across the country. Here we are once again. It's Thursday. We're coming to you live out of New York City. That's where we originate, but we don't stop there because we broadcast all over the world. We're a global show. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning in London, and it's 1 a.m. there, 3 a.m. in Israel, and it's 9 a.m. in Tokyo, Japan. We want to take the time to invite and welcome all of you to another edition of Talk Back Live. We meet here every Thursday at this time. And of course, we get together and we share conversation. And you could be part of the action as well. That's what this show is all about. We exchange ideas and opinions. And of course, we want you to be part of it as well. For those of you who've been with us all of these years, we thank you for your patronage and thank you for your loyalty, for being with us all of these years. And they may be new people that are here tonight. And of course, we want to welcome you as well. Now, if this is your very first time, let me tell you what the show is all about. As the host of the show, I get things rolling. I'm in the prep mode right now, so I start to prep the show, get things rolling. And as I do that, you can take the opportunity to use your keyboard on your computer, your cell phone, and even your tablet. Just type in whatever you want to talk about. I'll see you right there on the big screen, and I'll entertain all of your thoughts and ideas, because that's what the show is all about. Free exchange of ideas and of opinions. And since we all have ideas and of opinions on this show, we want to put them all together and make conversation about it. So in other words, if you have anything in particular that you want to talk about, anything at all, just put it down there, and we're going to try to entertain all of that. We're going to try to do our best to talk, give everybody a chance to show their wares, as they say. If you're a salesperson, show your wares or sell my wares, right? It's all right here. And here we are. It's Thursday. We're going to be here for a whole hour, as I said. We've got Brian Camp coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina. That's where he hails, right? Charlotte, North Carolina. As a matter of fact, the last time we saw Brian, he was outside of town. He was over here in the Caribbean, and now he's back home. How does it feel to be back home in Charlotte?
It feels good, but I'm back on the road starting tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. in the morning, headed for the Big Apple, but it's only for a quick turnaround. Got to pick up my granddaughter at the train station, and we're going right back to Penn Station. I can't even see you, but I'll be on the train coming live on the coffee hour.
Okay. All right. What time you going to take? What's that? A 12-hour ride on the train? Amtrak, 12 hours?
Well,
just like
yeah, because
that's equivalent to the car, right? The car is like
12. Well, the car is like 10 and a half, 11 hours. It depends what time you leave, how fast you drive, So just me solo. So I'm going to be on the train tomorrow, God's willing. And I'm coming to you live. Hope I might hit a dead zone, but I should be able to be talking to you from Amtrak or in the cafeteria. Yes, Amtrak has a cafeteria, a little small cafeteria and everything.
How do you like doing those remotes from traveling, doing the show, as opposed to being stable to where you are?
It's relaxing, believe it or not, because when you're on the train, you're just relaxed and you just prop your feet up. You can walk around the train. It's not like a New York City subway. It's just that you got people with you, and people are either sleeping or they're in their private room. I see that's too much money for me to get a private room, but you're in your private room, or the great thing about Amtrak, you could charge up your electronics. So plenty of Netflix, plenty of TV that I'll be, plenty of music too that I will have also as well. So I'll be fine.
Nothing is like the trains in New York. There's nothing like
No, no.
that.
You can't even take a nap. You can't even take a 60-second nap on the subway because because you just don't know unless if you ride in between Manhattan to Brooklyn, that's like a 2-3 minute ride. So you could take a little quick snooze like this. And then
Yeah,
when you feel a train slowing up coming into the station, got to wake up because you got to be like this. You got to look around, make sure
yeah,
that you're still there, so
yeah.
so
I
but
don't
it's
know.
fun.
I've never traveled by Amtrak, and I heard it's very relaxing. But I have a
Yeah.
problem being on a train that long. That's why I prefer flying. Let's say, for instance, if I come out to Charlotte, North Carolina, it's always in the air. I can get there like
Yeah,
in an hour and a half or something like that. I
true.
can't actually, who knows? Maybe I'll get to the point, maybe try it once, get on the
Well,
train for 12
I
hours.
tell you, I tell you this, it's better taking an Amtrak train than taking one of those buses where you sitting next to somebody you don't know. Well, you don't
Um,
know anybody sitting next to you while you're on the train, but when somebody is snoring on you and is laying on you and you have no leg room, you're like this. In the train, you just relax like this.
yeah.
You have a stand, you have your charger, and and I used to go back and forth, editing, doing some computer work, you know,
Uh,
doing a wedding like I used to do weddings, and I spend the time there editing, and by the time I get back, either to Charlotte, and I'll be finished, and they get their product. So Amtrak is the second best way to go, other than flying.
okay. I'm not gonna say I'll never do it. I just gotta adjust myself to saying, hey, do I want to be on a train for 12 hours? But something probably maybe I'll probably be better off on a train for 12 hours than riding in a car for 12 hours.
That's right. That's right.
Because a train is, of course, more spacious than a car,
That's right.
and you have more leg room, right, on the
Yep.
train.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got a bathroom there. You got a little cafeteria there. And you if you don't want to sit in your seat, you sit up front with the cafeteria where there's a whole car where people is playing their music, they're holding conversation. If you get a little tired of that, then you go back to your seat and you snooze a little bit. Totally different world.
We'll see. I mean, the way airline prices are today, maybe,
And
maybe
it's
I'll
not
make
that
a conversion.
expensive either. It's not that expensive.
Yeah.
It could be 120, depending on how far you got to go. From Charlotte to New York, you'll talk about 115, $104 one way, and the same way coming back. The same price as an air flight. It's just that the airplane gets you there quicker, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, of course. Anyway, just in case you're just joining us at this particular moment, you're just coming in right now and wondering what this is all about. The name of the show is called Talk Back Live. Who you've been watching is my co-host, Brian. Brian is with me every week. He's the co-host. He's the official co-host. So this is his show just as much as it is my show.
Ah,
So yes, it is. Yes,
I'm
it.
just
I
a
mean,
sidekick. That's all. I'm just a
no,
sidekick.
this is your show. This is your show. And you got sports coming up later on. We'll talk about that later. And then, is there anything that's bothering you this week that you want to talk about that you want to let loose on later on? Give me a warning.
Um, yeah, Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you know, I got mixed feelings about that because I'm a big fan of his, but I'll
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah.
It's oh
Okay.
boy.
Well, anyway, here we are in the month of August, and it's safe to say it's the middle of August now because it's the 20th. This is the 20th day of August. And of course, we've got a lot of things to talk about too. And of course, usually, when we have those months that we celebrate certain things, nothing like that. We haven't had anything like that in a couple of months. But one of the things that we do want to make you aware of all month long that we'll be talking about is Immunization Awareness Month. Now, of course, this is a good time to talk about that because this is the time where you got the flu season coming along. And of course, children, they have to go back to school and they need their shots. Well, we could talk about that later on, too. There's a lot to talk about on that, too. But nevertheless, this is the time to make sure that you get all the appropriate immunizations for your children and for yourself. Brian, one of the things I found out, I said a couple of weeks ago that I was going to keep searching until I find the answer about COVID. Now, I said earlier, a couple of weeks ago, that the COVID-19 shots, there's no updates on it. I found that out like maybe about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
I'm pleased to announce, according to my sources and research, right, the updated version of COVID immunization will be coming out in the fall. Okay, according to what I found out and according to my researches, and I hope that's the truth, but this is what I found out just yesterday, as a matter of fact. There will be updates, an update for this year's COVID shots. So I told you
the fifth shot or the sixth shot.
Well, how many? Yeah, well, everybody had the same. So since
I have 4 shots. I still have it on my card. The card that you get.
Don't use that card anymore.
You don't use that card? Well, that's how I keep up with how many shots I have. So I have 4 shots. Yeah.
All right. But they don't ask you for that card anymore. They don't use that. I still have my card, and I'll probably keep it forever, as a reminder,
Right.
But yeah, they it's probably about the 5th shot for everybody. I think everyone has like the same thing, unless of course you missed a shot or two, if you missed an update. But I try not to miss any updates. That's why I keep reminding everybody, that I keep telling you, and I always try to keep my promise on that when I try to find out what's going to happen, when it's going to develop. So according to my sources, it's going to be out there in April. I'm not sure what month, but they didn't say a month, but they did say fall. So fall could be anytime next month,
to October to November.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But if anything changes in that department, I will continue to let everybody know about that.
Sounds good.
So that's about that. And those of you who are just joining us, I want to say hello to you. And I want to say hello to Mary, first of all, because Mary is out there watching us on YouTube. I don't know if you can see her. You're home now, so maybe you monitor everything. But she's out there, so she says good evening to both of us. So good evening to her from Brooklyn, New York, where you once lived. Well, we all once lived.
Once I will return back within less than 24 hours, I will be back in Brooklyn for a quick turnaround.
Brooklyn changed so much. Brooklyn is almost like Manhattan now.
Yeah, what is going on in New York? I've been keeping up with New York news, slashing and robbing and fighting. Oh, my goodness. That's why I'm glad there's a quick turnaround to come back home, because I'm hearing a lot of stories up there. I don't want to scare the people that's listening nationwide and worldwide, but I've been, nonsense. It's really not. It's the summertime. I get that. That's always the case in New York City and everything. But
yeah, but that's no reason for all of that. I remember they used to call those seasons the long hot summers. It's going to be a long hot summer. They used to say that, and that was an expression back in those days when they used to say it's going to be a lot of looting, fighting because of some political thing that's going on, or something happening, or riots in the streets and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So Mary puts her hands together. You know what that means?
Prayer time. That's right.
Anywhere you go, she just says, "Keep the faith." Keep the faith. Where have I heard that?
I take God with me everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. And I know I'm going into a town, a home where I grew up in, but you got to watch as well as pray too. So you can't take nothing for granted and everything. New York can be a hostile place in certain areas, but
Yeah,
you just keep it going, mind your business, and keep on going. I don't stop for nothing, for nobody. Just keep it
yeah.
going.
As a New Yorker, I try to be hospitable to people who are visiting because every day I go through Grand Central Station. I walk through Grand Central Station, right? And I
Hmm.
see all of these tourists and they taking pictures and all of this. And I'm surprised there are many tourists as they are.
Oh yeah. Well, that would never change. That will never change. New York. Listen, don't let's not. I don't want to get it twisted. New York City is the greatest city in the world. It is
Mhm,
the great city. It's home. I'm proud. I'm a proud New Yorker. But just
mhm,
like any big city, state, or country, you
mhm.
have your areas where you have to be careful.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
simple as that. You know,
You already hit it on the head. Watch as well as pray,
that's
you
right.
know. And that's the whole story. R&B and soul singer Ruby Andrews has died at a home in Chicago last Thursday. Andrews is known for her hits in the 1960s, songs like Casanova, Your Playing Days Are Over, You Made a Believer Out of Me, and Everybody Saw You. Andrews was born in Hollandale, Mississippi, and moved with her family to Chicago around 1953. Andrews was married to Robert Lester. He was a member of the Chicago vocal group The Shylights until his death in January of 2010. Andrews was 79. Hayden Panettiere, Panettiere, I should say. Hayden Panettiere, best known for her roles in The Heroes and Nashville and the Scream franchises. She has died, and no cause of death was announced. And her publicist, Casey Kitchens, said that her death is being investigated. Panettiere was born August 20th, 21st, 1989, in Palisades, New York, to actress Leslie Vogel and Fire Department Captain Skip Panettiere. And she began appearing in commercials at 11 months. Well, yeah, 11 months old, and went on to work in as a child actor in soap operas like One Life to Live and The Guiding Light. She was 36, and she would have been 37 tomorrow. So um, there you go. So I'm going to shoot it back over to you right now with the latest developments in today's world of sports.
88 degrees here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina, where it's been hot. We reached a high of 97 today. But right now it's going down to 88. Not complaining, but it is still hot, still warm out here. Best time to go out is right about now. Sun is down. You could just walk your dog, or still gets a little touch of daylight left. But you could go out front yard, front porch, your front door, whatever, and get some air and everything. But it is still hot. It's still summertime out here, and we're in the month of August. We get the sports. Not much to talk about. We know that the NFL is in their season of preseason football right now. So as players are gathering, trying to make their teams and make their rosters, and there's some tension going on with the fighting, and the commissioner had fined two teams who had a joint training. The Cowboys and the Saints, they got into a scuffle that really was really ridiculous, and led to some a major altercation. Major League Baseball is in the middle coming up. As we reach in September, which is the dog days of the season that's coming up. As we coming up to the final month of the season, check your local listings, find out how your teams are doing. Baseball it gets very hot and touchy and everything, because they're jockeying for a playoff spot. So the Yankees, they're just holding on to a thread. I could tell you that much. The Mets are playing. Actually, the Mets are playing very well lately, but it might be a little bit too little, too late. As for my team, the San Francisco Giants, season's been over since April. So it is what it is with my team. But there's other teams, the Braves and the Dodgers. Yeah, but check your local listings. In the NBA, news of the week is that the Buss family, Dr. Jerry Buss, former owner of the LA Lakers, the late owner, his daughter, Jeannie Buss, who is the person who was in charge after he left the rings over to his daughter and to the rest of his children. For years, the siblings has been battling back and forth about who's in charge. But if Dr. Jerry Buss said his daughter, Jeannie Buss, is the one that's in charge, but he was smart enough to have let his 5 children have a piece of the steak. Well, they sold the team. They sold the team. Um, that 5 of the 6 members of the trust of the Buss family are united in the decision to agree to sell their shares. The statement comes in the wake of Jeannie Buss, the current governor of the team, and the only sibling to abstain from the vote to sell, declaring her intention to contest her brothers to contest with her brothers and sister. The Los Angeles Lakers have never been just a basketball team, it was said. They have been one of the greatest privileges of our lives. The Buss family said in a statement to ESPN on Tuesday, our focus has always been on what we believe is best for the Lakers, the fans who have supported the franchise for generations, and the greater of the Los Angeles community. They once played in Inglewood, California. So they sold the team. Johnny, Jimmy, Janie, Joey, and Jesse have made the decision to sell the family's remaining stake, and we remain united in that decision. We intended to move forward thoughtfully, respectfully, and through the appropriation process. Now, Dr. Jerry Buss, as you know, I mentioned those 5 names. They all started with the letter J. He named all his kids starting with the letter J: Johnny, Jimmy, Janie, Joey, and Jesse. So something that to think about, but he loved his children so much. Last June, the Buss family made a decision to sell to Mark Walter, and a evaluation of $10 billion, and then recorded a U.S. professional sports franchise. The multiple Buss siblings, however, felt frustrated and at Jeannie and misled by her over what they believe was a rush sale. Sources close to the process told ESPN, but they had settled all of that already. So they settled all of that. Jeannie, last year they sold for 12. I believe it's 12.5. Well, it's 12.5 now, but they just sold the team. But Janie stayed on as the everyday operation and governor who makes the final decisions of trades, draft picks, and so on. So if this stays, the remaining share does go through, Jeannie would lose her status as governor of the franchise, and she had previous deal with Walter remain as governor through 2030. So they still got to vote on it. So, but right now it looks like it's a done deal. This day in sports, August 20th, 1945, Tommy Brown, 17, becomes the youngest player to hit a home run in Brooklyn Ebbets Field. That's in Brooklyn, over there on Bedford Avenue, which is now known as, what is it? It's a college over there, Marcus Garvey, not Marcus Garvey, Mega Evans College. 1958, Chicago Cubs used first base Dale Young as their first major league lefty catcher since 1906. You never seen a lefty catcher, I could tell you that much. You never seen a catcher who catches the ball behind the plate and throws lefty to throw it back. They always been righty, but this is the first time that's happened since 1906. 1965, Eddie Matthews and Hank Aaron, 1954 to 1965, surpassed Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig by hitting 772 home runs while playing together on the same team. The same team. Nolan Ryan pitched is measured at a record 161.6 kilometers, which equals up to 100.4 miles per hour. 1990, George Steinbrenner steps down as New York Yankee owner. Birthdays on this day. Happy birthday, 1931, to Don King, boxer promoter, for his unusual hairstyles and always jerking people around with their money. They're like Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. Was born in Cleveland, Ohio. 1944, happy birthday to Greg Nettles, Major League Baseball third baseman, six-time All-Star, played for the Cleveland Indians and for the New York Yankees. The San Diego Padres, was born in San Diego, California. And 1954, happy birthday to Quinn Butler, NCAA point guard for the Indiana University Hoosiers. Olympic gold medal in 1976, was born in Phoenix, Illinois. Not Phoenix, Arizona, Phoenix, Illinois. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports coming from the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina.
I wonder what was the Bus family, the mother. I wonder what her first name was. Like you said, every one of the children has their names J.
Well,
the father's Jerry. You got Johnny, Jimmy, Janie, Joey, Jesse, and Jeannie.
Well, the last two children wasn't by his original wife. He went on and had a second family, but they had divorced many years ago. So when you have all that money,
yeah,
you have no say so, including if that's your spouse or not. If he was back there, back then a millionaire was a lot of money back then. If he was a millionaire, but he was the one that named the children. So
okay. Well, see, all of the J's. You can't go wrong. All of the J's. Yeah, there was. I don't. You say it looks like a done deal. The last time I looked back, they said that it was a feud thing going. They said that they were going to override Jeannie's Bus, because they said, according to Jeannie Bus, they can't make any sales, any move like that until her approval.
Because she's the minority owner,
yeah.
but she has a big say of the everyday operations that goes on.
Yeah.
So even though she's not the majority owner, that's with the two guys that's in charge, Kushner and Walter. But they agreed that she will be still in charge of the everyday operation. She only owns 17% of the Lakers.
That's Mark Walter you're talking about, right?
Mark Walter, yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Jeannie Buss, by the way, is not only stuck in basketball. She's an executive producer of a wrestling franchise called WOW.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Jerry Buss was in charge. Used to own the Kings, which is the National Hockey League team. There's a soccer team that the son runs. It was a big documentary on Netflix on Jerry Buss. They own a lot of stock with a lot of sports in Los Angeles, from soccer to hockey to baseballs. The Dodgers and everything. And then they was asking the questions whether or not that would have any effect on the of the sale and everything. But they seem like that they're gonna try to work it out though.
Jeannie Buss, I don't know how old she is, but she looks pretty young.
Yeah, she used to date Phil Jackson. Remember Phil Jackson?
Yeah. Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, she used to date him for a long while. Yeah. Not anymore though.
Well, like I said, they're all listen. They're all eating. They're not starving. They all got their hands on something. And as I said, she is the executive producer of WOW. It's Women of Wrestling.
Yep, that's right.
And that's the David McLean franchise as well. But she's the executive producer, so she's everywhere. She's everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the New York Yankees right now are leading 3-1 in fifth inning, at the bottom of the fifth inning so far.
Okay.
So far.
They got a
They
lot of
won.
ground to catch up, though. They got a
Yeah,
lot of ground to catch up to the Tampa Bay Rays.
yeah. If they win this game tonight, the Baltimore Orioles, they swept them. They swept in the series, so they're looking for a sweep
Hmm. Yeah.
because they won last night. I don't know. You say the Mets are doing pretty good as well. A
They've
little
been
too late.
playing well lately, but they're still so far behind, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Yankees are I don't know. They're still holding on to that second place position. At least they didn't drop below that.
That's because the American League is not as strong, as wide open. Some people are still picking the Yankees to come out the American League to represent the American League and to play in the World Series. But we won't know that until Aaron Judge get back. And even when Aaron Judge get back, will he be the same Aaron Judge? Will he be the same Aaron Judge that will still be knocking the ball over the fence? Because you got to get back into playing shape once you do get back. So you may
Mhm.
be clear to play, but you may not have your rhythm back. So that's still going to take some time. But he's due back soon, though. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you. Did you hear about I don't know if you heard the story about Travis Kelsey. He's going to be making a move. Now, I don't know if he's going to, I think this may be, not sure, but this may be his last year playing professional football because according to my sources, they said that he's expected to make a move to this place called French Advertising Company. That's a publishing group.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be collaborating on to launch a new agency called Tecta, which will be linking advertisers with college athletes and universities. I'm not sure what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty evidently he does because he's making the move. But I think he was talking about leaving a professional football after marrying Taylor Swift anyway.
Well, two things. When you have two megastars like Taylor Swift and himself, Kelsey, you, it's hard that you gotta, you know, be connected. You gotta still see your wife and her husband, and that's hard. But he is coming down to the end of his football career. You
Yeah.
can't play sports forever. So he's
Right.
he's doing the right thing. He's making plans. He listen, she's a billionaire, you
Yeah.
know. So, I'm pretty sure that they signed some kind of agreement, where that you don't touch my money, I don't touch yours and everything, just in case, this is what
Yeah.
celebrities do and everything. So I'm pretty sure he's preparing for this. He's right now has a podcast. I would think he still have a podcast with his brother.
Brother.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's still going. But I think this is his last swan song coming up where I think he's finished now. He's going to
Mhm.
be finished.
Well, it's like I said, something. He's got something in the back burner. He's got a plan B, which all sports figures should have, because sports, as you already know, no matter what sports you're with, it's
Mhm.
physicality. And then, after that, it's gone after a few years. And then, you want to move on to something else. So you want to keep money coming through the household so you can pay your mortgage and send the kids to college and et cetera, et cetera. But,
Yep.
and I said it before, it's always good to have something on the back burner. And I think that's
Always.
what this is for him.
That's
And
right.
who knows, he may have something else because sports figures, when they leave what they do more than one or two things. Some own restaurants, some go into publications, some go behind the mic or as announcers. They do a lot
Well,
of
I
things.
think now what a lot of the athletes are doing now, since they want to have their own platform, their own thing, which we'll talk about with Stephen A. Smith soon. Um, you could speak freely and do whatever the hell you want and say whatever the hell you want. If you're working for a company like, a sports company or a cable news, you're really limited of what you really want to say because you're employed by somebody else. When you have your own podcast, your own boss.
Mm-hmm.
You are your own boss, and you need, of course, people to subscribe, and that's how you make your money, of course. But I don't know. all of it of what goes on behind the scenes, but you have a freedom of to say whatever you want and everything, you know. So
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Speaking of podcasts, what do you think of Pat McAfee? You like Pat McAfee?
I don't dislike him. You know, he has the freedom you know, to say what he wants to say.
Uh,
Sometimes they bleep him out, sometimes they don't.
uh,
He's Listen, you can't hate on somebody that's making money. You can't
yeah,
hate on somebody that's doing what they're doing, what they love doing. He's a former athlete, and I know he has connection with wrestling too, I believe. And
yeah. Well, he did. I don't see him much. I don't see him doing that as much. But I know that he's on
listen,
ESPN.
comes on at 12 noon. He's
Yeah,
making money. He's
yeah,
one of the highest paid ESPN employees around. And here
yeah.
it is, ESPN has had budget cuts. They're firing everybody, but they're
I
going to
was
make
gonna say.
sure that, right, but they're going to keep the two
Yeah,
faces, which is
that's right.
McAfee
That's right. They
and
want to make
Stephen
him
A.
the thing.
Smith. That's
That's
right,
right.
because it's all about ratings and
Yeah,
revenue, you
yeah.
know. So, and
It's at the
sponsorships.
it's at the expense of the people who are no longer there.
That's right.
That's I don't know. I have my reservations about that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Whatever, whatever. Keep eating, keep paying your rent, or whatever you do. Whatever. Okay, I'm going to go back in time because on this day in history, back in 1925, WJRAM, that's in Detroit, Michigan, begins radio transmission. On this day in history, 1964, U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson signs the Economic Opportunity Act, an anti poverty measure totaling near $1 billion. $1 billion. On this day in history, 1965, Rolling Stones released their single, I Can't Get No Satisfaction, that made it their first #1 US hit in the UK. Back in 1975, Nelson Rockefeller is selected as US president by President Gerald Ford. In the year 2020, Kamala Harris accepts her nomination for vice president, becoming the first US woman of color on a major party ticket. On this day in history, in 1907, actor Allan Reed, who played on Breakfast at Tiffany, he was also the voice of Fred Flintstone, and he was born in New York City. He died in 1977. Author of The Valley of the Dolls, Jacqueline Suzanne, was born on this day in 1918 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She died September 21st, 1974, at 56 from cancer. Back in 1923, on this day in history, country singer Jim Reeves was born in Panola County, Texas, and he died in 1964. On this day in history, 1931, boxer promoter, Don King. Well, you said he had a birthday, but let me tell you something. He was born in Cleveland, Ohio. I should have bypassed that because I heard you mention that anyway.
That's okay.
It was just right there. Singer Isaac Hayes was born on this day in 1942 in Covington, Tennessee. He died August 10th, 2008, at 65 years old. In 1946, on this day in history, news anchor Connie Chung, who's married to Maury Povich, was born in Washington, D.C., just like Maury was. And she's 80 years old today. She doesn't look a day over 60.
I think she's leaving the show. She's retiring too, I believe. To the
Retired
last.
already a long time ago. She
Oh, she
retired.
did retire. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think Maury did too. I think he
Okay.
did too. Anyway, Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin, the rock group Led Zeppelin, was born on this day in 1948, and he was born in West Bromwich, England. He's 78. On this day in history, in 1954, meteorologist Al Roker of NBC Today was born in Queens, New York. He's 72. The singer Demi Lovato was born on this day in 1992 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. She's 35 today. In 1939, actress Joan Fontaine weds actor Brian O'Hare, and they got divorced in 1945. On this day in history, 1992, singer Sting weds actress Trudy Styler in Wiltshire, England. In 2022, Modern Family actress Sarah Hyland marries reality actor Wells Adams in Santa Barbara, California. In 2024, singer Jennifer Lopez files for divorce from her husband, Ben Affleck, after 2 years of marriage. Comedian Phyllis Diller died on this day in 2012 at 95 years old from natural causes. She was born in July 17th in 1917. July 17, 1917, in Lima, Ohio. And on this day in history in 2013, jazz pianist and radio host Marion McPartland dies at 95. Comedian Jerry Lewis died on this day in 1917 at 91 years old. He was born March 16th, 1926 in Newark, New Jersey. And so that's what's happening on this day in history. And any of you know what's happening on this day in history that I didn't mention anything and you happen to know off the cuff, please let us know. Type it in there. We'll relay it to everyone else. Of course, when you type it in, everyone will see it anyway. But we'll relay it anyway because you may be on a different platform than somebody else. Anyway, if you'd like to get in touch with Brian or I, feel free to contact us. I have an email address and a telephone number, and you could use that anytime you want, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of each year. I'll give you the email address first. It's Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. Allan is spelled Allan. Prod is PROD. That's Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. Telephone number 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. Use it anytime. And it's not only for getting in touch and asking questions. If you have a birthday or some kind of celebration that you want to relay to us, that you want us to put on the air, feel free. Okay. The address once again is Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. That's Frank Allan Prod at AOL.com. Telephone number 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. I have those movies that you all like. You love those movies, right? Classic. And each week I go into the Turner Classic Vault movie and pick them out. And they're my picks of the week for your weekend, because you may possibly get caught in the rain and you can't go out, which reminds me to tell you that we are being drenched as we speak. Anyway, if you happen to be one of those people who have that problem, you can stay in all weekend and pick up on some movies. So I'm going to relay these movies to you right now. This goes back to 1937. This is called Stage Door. And it's a classic movie. There's a little music involved in it, starring Katharine Hepburn and Ginger Rogers. Turner Classic Movies at Sunday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. Philadelphia Story. Now, the Philadelphia Story was the movie that I guess it rolled over to be High Society with Frank Sinatra and Bing Crosby. But this is the original one, the Philadelphia Story, and the Philadelphia Story back in 1940, starring Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn, and James Stewart. Turner Classic Movies. That's Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And finally, guess who's coming?
Sidney Poitier?
Oh, yeah, he'll be here. He could. 1867 a year for that. Guess who's coming to dinner? Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn, and of course, as I mentioned, Sidney Poitier. Turner Classic Movies, Sunday. I love that movie.
How many times have they played together? My goodness. Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn. How many movies have they played in together?
I don't know. They played in movies so long, they started living together. They did that, They were item. A lot of people may not know that, but I guess a lot of people did know that. But you can catch these movies if you go on Turner Classic Movies, by the way, and you look for some other movies, you might find that I didn't mention, only because these are my picks of the week. Okay, and you could watch them. Okay, so let me repeat these movies once again. Turner Classic Movies, that's Stage Door, 1937, Katharine Hepburn, Ginger Rogers. Turner Classic Movies, Sunday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. Philadelphia Story, Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn, and James Stewart. Turner Classic Movies Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then you have Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn, and Sidney Poitier. Turner Classic Movies Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, the girl that played Joey, that was Katharine Hepburn's granddaughter in real life.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my favorite part of the movie, the one that Spencer Tracy did, and let me see if I can repeat it word for word. And he said something about when Sidney Poitier say, "If you don't approve of this wedding, it's not happening." And then she said, "That's absurd," or something like that. And then he came in, and this is my favorite part. He says, "Joey, this may be the last time I have to tell you anything. So I'm telling you now, shut up." That was my favorite. That was my favorite part of the movie. Anyway, you can check all of these movies out. And if you don't get the chance to check them out in real time, if you still have your cable box, you DVR them and watch them at a later date. That's the movies from Turner Classic Movies. Brian, did you hear about the couple from, well, they once lived in England, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's?
They're back home.
They back. Yeah.
And went back home. But I don't think he's going to get.
They're not.
I don't think he's not going to get his royalties back, right?
No.
Okay.
And he's not going to get involved in any of that back in the UK.
Right.
He's not going to. They want to come back home. People are questioning it. Why? There must be something going on. Why does it have to be something going on?
He was always close to his brother, though, right? He was always at one time he was close to his
brother. Just like all brothers, they have feuds every now and then. Yeah, right. But they were close when they were younger. I don't know how.
It's like this for Harry. When him and his brother were born, he knew his brother was going to be next in line as after the father, his father, and then it was Queen Elizabeth. Then it was what's his name? The king now. I forget his name. The king.
Prince Charles.
Right.
Well, he's Prince, but now he's King Charles III.
King Charles. Yeah. Then after that, it was the two. He has 3 kids. As you know, the daughter is the last one. She's now going to be the next queen. Then you had Harry, and then you had the oldest son. So the way it works, the oldest son is next in line. After next in line, if he decides to have children, then the first oldest would be next in line. Then the second, third, fourth, and fifth. In the meantime, the second son of Charles will never see that, because the more kids that the older brother has, it pushes him backwards. So he's saying to himself, I'm just speculating, well, since I'm not going to be king and my brother is next in line, and then after he goes, his children comes. So I want to live my life the way I want to. I'm going to marry a beautiful woman in the States who's an actress. And that's how that happened. But he still gets the royalties of being part of the royal family. But he didn't want that life anymore.
Yeah. No, he still doesn't. He wants to go back home. They both want to go back home, but they want nothing to do with that life. They just want to be home.
They want to live a normal life.
Yeah, that's all they wanted. And they want their children to have a normal life as well.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
They stayed in California for a few years, and I'm pretty sure they enjoyed it, but they want to come back home, and that's okay. So I wish them both a lot of luck.
I wish them the best too.
Hey, did you see this week also your boy, that guy that resides at that place I don't know what it doesn't even look like the White House anymore. It looks like a circus. It looks like a construction site. It is a construction site. But he was out there while everyone else is wondering about how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to get their food, what they're going to do for healthcare. While everybody is concentrating on that and wondering where all that's coming out, he's out there showing the cameras his construction tour. He's going around talking about, we got this platform here. You can go out there and have cocktails there, and you can go into the ballroom. He's still talking about that ballroom.
He's trying to build his legacy, even though his legacy is full of it. The country, since he's been president, they are how much is it? $4 billion in debt. You know, it's just he. I don't like keep on talking about him, but the more but the more he does, the more of his supporters just cheer him on. And the people, the Republicans, they're so desperate to keep a seat. They're so desperate to keep a job because even they know that once he goes, they're going to lose it. Right now, according to what watching the news, because I watch it a lot along with you, the midterms are favoring the Democrats. I don't believe in that stuff because we've been told too many times about who's the next president is going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been disappointed. So right now, the midterms is going to decide it all
Mm-hmm.
because if they don't, then it's too late. This man got another 2 years left. 2 years after, if they win the midterms, the Republicans, he got 2 more years left. And he's just warming up. He's just
And you know
warming up.
something? That 2 years is a long time.
Sure it is.
Just think about this. Just think about this. It took from last year, last January, up until now to get where we are today. And we are not doing good at all.
No, no.
Can you imagine what the next 2 years is going to bring?
Oh,
If we're in this situation where we are now, can you imagine what it's going to be like for the next? So he's got another 2 years to screw it up.
and the vice president is just following his footsteps. But I think there's a little tension between them
Yeah,
two. You
yeah,
know, um, we're just gonna have to weigh it out. I don't know which way it's gonna go, but it's like the president's not really paying him any attention. The president is so busy want to build his legacy so bad. He's not even thinking about the war.
mm-hmm.
He's not even thinking about the war that's happening with Iraq. Iran. Was it Iran? Iran. So
Iran.
he's not thinking about that at all. But then here in the meantime, he's making friends with, Putin and the dictator from North Korea now. So, now what's going to happen if our allies turn their backs on us? Because this shows you the proof. He's building his own legacy. He's still making money. He's trying to build money, more money. Not only to help himself, but set his family up for life. They're already set for life. But he's trying to build a legacy. That's what he's trying to do.
And he had that crypto meeting with the crypto people in the White House just the other day, or was it yesterday? I don't know. They had a meeting. It was like a party. It was a party for billionaires. They're just whooping it up, having a party.
Yep.
Like everybody is suffering. And I got to tell you, even people who are well-to-do, people who are great, doing great financially, now they can't lay back. They just can't lay back or comfortably anymore. Like, they're going to have to try to find a way to hold on to whatever they have now, even though they are doing well. Now they have to find a way to hold on to what they got, because they're going to live just the way we are. I mean, they're living better, of course, because they have more money, but they're going to be spending more money than they have before.
Yeah.
Donald Trump doesn't like to spend money. You already know that,
He
right?
doesn't. But look what is happening to our troops on the USS Abraham
Yeah.
Lincoln. You
Hmm.
know, their troops, our service people, men and women, are jumping off the boats, off the ships,
Yeah.
because they want to go home. They're hungry.
Yeah.
It's doing something to them mentally. So finally, they're having another ship to relieve them. They've been out there for like almost a year, consecutive day. I forgot the a number, but it's been almost close to a year of this war. They were shipped out to go there to protect the borders, but he every time we turn around, we're winning this war. Um, they're going to give in any day now. No, they're not. I know a lot of Arabic people.
Yeah. They're not going to give up.
They're
I
not going to
already
give
told
up.
you before that until this thing is not going to be over until this guy is out. It's not going
Right.
to be over. You could say all you want. And whenever he says something, you have to just think the opposite of what he's telling you.
Exactly.
If he says the sky is blue, well, he's right. He's right. But then now you have to question it. How blue is it? You know, but whatever he says, you have to always think the opposite of him. When he tells you that we're doing fine, and he says it all the time, America is doing great. Prices went down, and I'm looking around, prices went down. And every time I go to the supermarket, I'm asking the management, where's the section where the prices went down? No, I don't do that because I know better. But the point I'm trying to make is whenever he tells you one thing, you have to think the opposite
That's
because
right.
you know he's lying. And like you said, the only people who are actually listening to him and bending the knee are the MAGA people. That reminds me of a movie I was watching just last night. I watched part of it last night and part of it before we came on the air tonight. Remember that movie, a Guyana Tragedy,
Oh,
the
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones story?
Yeah.
I watched that movie 100 times. Every time I
Yeah.
watch it, I think about this situation that we're in now, right now. I think about it all the time.
The only thing is that he's not offering his people are spike poison drinks like Jim Jones did.
Well, phonetic. Well, no, he's not.
But he's feeding his followers something else instead.
As a metaphor, yes.
Yes, right. Well, if some of you don't know the story, there was a evangelist preach. I believe it was the evangelist preacher something in
Yeah,
Guyana. He
yeah,
led his followers. It was a cult, and
yeah.
he told his people to drink this for whatever reason because he was speaking about religious stuff, and they all
Yeah.
drank it and they all died. It was a poison. Everybody
Killed
poisoned and
themselves
died.
because they finally found him out and they were going to get the bottom to his shenanigans. And so he just wanted to do away with all his, as he called them, the flocks. He wanted to get rid of all of his people and himself. He said, we rather die because they're coming to get us. They're coming to get us. And that was the only way out.
And when they found them, they were all spread out dead. I
Well,
don't know if all of them died, but it was a mass. It was a
no,
mass of
they had some survivors. They had
yeah,
some,
yeah. Ugh.
yeah. Also, the other talk is about this girl Natalie Hart, who sticks with Trump thick and thin. Who, by the way, was in the food cart with him when they transported. She was in there.
I
Found that
wonder
out.
what was going on in that food cart. I'm just asking. I
Well,
have
they
no
say that
proof.
she's obsessed with him and she writes him love letters and things like that and all kinds of things. And so even the Secret Service people are concerned about this situation with her. And she stays with him 24 hours. As a matter of fact, I'm also told that she was the one that fostered that situation with the apes, with the
Yeah.
Obamas. That she was the one that put out that idea for him.
Whatever's done in the dark shall come to light. I could tell you that much.
It will.
60 sec. I want to talk about Stephen A. Smith for 60 seconds. I know he got a award, was nominated for the Thumbs Down Award because how he talked about women, particularly black women. Stephen A. Smith was on. But what got me mad with Stephen A. Smith, he ran to Fox and told his story, how he was raised by women, his four sisters, four older sisters and everything. But it was just crazy, and he's getting a lot of heat over this. But we'll talk about that tomorrow, though.
Okay. Well, bright and early. We'll catch you back here tomorrow. Then take care of yourself. We'll see you soon. And for the rest of you guys, please join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll be here for the coffee hour. Brian Kent will be along with me, and we'll have the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. And then you can join us back here next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for more of Talk Back Live. My co-host Brian Kent will be with me as well, and we look forward to seeing you then. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant good night.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with Frank Allen and Brian Camp. The producers are Al Dale and Katina Camp. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.